Oh, okay. Yep, I must have touched it. Well, good morning to all, and I would like to call this meeting to order and welcome everyone this morning. Welcome to all members of council that are joining us in person and virtually. Welcome to all members of our staff who will provide us facts and information so we can make decisions in the best interests of the Corporation of ACW and our 6,100 residents. Also, welcome to all members of the public that are joining in this morning and the media. At the outset, I would like to indicate that meetings of council are live streamed on the Township's official website in accordance with the live streaming and virtual participation of meetings policy. By attending this meeting, attendees and participants are consenting to their image, voice, and comments being recorded and available for public viewing on the Township's website. Do any members of council have a pecuniary interest or potential conflict of interest of any agenda item that we have today? Now, noted, we do have the minutes from the 4th of June council meeting that I would entertain a mover and a seconder, and that would be moved by Councillor Hickey, seconded by Deputy Mayor Vanstone, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council hereby adopts the June 4th, 2024 council meeting minutes as written. Do we have any questions on these minutes? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. Open forum is an opportunity for any members of the public to make any comments that they would care to on any agenda item that we have today. Is there anyone that would like to make any comments at this time? Please go to the microphone if you would, please, sir. Identify your first and last name and the agenda item that you would like to address, please.
My name is Francis Hogan. The agenda I'd like to, on the item on the agenda would like to be concerning a letter that was written and to do with wind turbines. We have, we've heard there might be a motion passed at ACW meeting today that ACW might be becoming an unwilling host to wind turbines. This would be a huge step backwards in what ACW has been doing since the start of K1. ACW has been a leader, showing other areas that wind turbines help fight climate change, help support farmers' incomes, and we have all been benefiting from taxes and cash benefit packages that ACW receives yearly from K1 and 2. These financial benefits give ACW a big advantage over the area. Wind energy has become the lowest cost of electrical generation. It used to be the most expensive, but now it's the cheapest. This helps lower the cost to consumers. Most groups that oppose wind energy, in my opinion, have tunnel vision. They only talk about the negatives of wind energy. To make important decisions in this world, we have to consider all the pros and cons of every option that's available. Wind energy is the fastest growing new generation for electrical generation in the world. China now has the most wind energy in the world, over 1/4 of the world's capacity. Many of the world's dams are very low in water because of drought and less snow in the mountains. This is already lowering production capacity in the world and here in Canada. Scientists are predicting winds will keep increasing in the world, ensuring wind energy's future. Major decisions like we are facing here today quite often happen when citizens on the ground come out and ask their governments to do certain things. When municipal governments do certain things, this sends signals to provincial and federal governments. A few years ago, some innovative and forward-thinking ACW councillors helped start this great wave. We can't go backwards now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other members of the public who would like to make any comments at this time? And please go to the podium if you would. introduce yourself, first and last name, and everyone has up to 5 minutes to address council. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Angela Keeley. You might know me better as Angela Dalton. I am here today in the stead of my dad, Sean Dalton, and my mom, Lori Dalton. They couldn't be here due to medical reasons. And I just wanted to let you know that our whole family, myself, my brother John, his wife Sam, my brother Mike, his wife Jenny, and my sister Erin, mom and dad, we've all been a part of the K2 Wind project right from its inception. Mom and dad were some of the first to sign on to the K2 Wind project, and it has made an absolute difference in how we think about renewable resources and renewable power. The UN has noted and understood that wind power has shown to make an incredible change with climate, with our reliance on fossil fuels, and with our ability to manage better outcomes in the future. I don't know if you noticed, but it is 27 degrees at 9 o'clock on June 18th, and that is not unprecedented, but certainly unheard of. So we are fully in support of having ACW host the wind turbines. We've always seen it as a better road to a better future. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public who would like to make any comments at this time? Sir, please go to the podium, indicate your first and last name and the agenda item that you would like to address this morning.
Well, my mother calls me Dennis. I inherited the family name Valenta, and I just addressed this comments about wind turbines. I fail to see how it would be cheaper, since you always have to have backup built or sustained. So it's like a double whammy in cost. So I fail to see how it could be cheaper. So I just thought I'd point that out.
Thank you for that. Any other members of the public care to make any comments at this time? If not, thank you very much. I would like to now move to item 6 in Treasury, and the first would be the payment of the current accounts. We have been supplied these, and I would entertain a mover and a seconder for these. Councillor Miltenberg and Forrester move and second that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council hereby authorizes payments of the June 2024 accounts as presented. Do we have any questions on any of these numbers? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. 6.2 is the payment of the previous month actual accounts, and again, I would entertain a mover and a seconder for these. Councillor Hickey moves, seconded by Councillor Blake, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council hereby approves the payment of the May 2024 accounts in the amount of $1,186,099.46. Do we have any questions on any of these numbers? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? And that again is carried. Thank you. 6.3 is the summary revenue/expenditure reports, and I would entertain again a mover and a seconder for these. Deputy Mayor Vanstone moves, Councillor Forrester seconds that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council adopts the summary revenue/expenditure reports as written for the Township, Lucknow and District Medical Center, and the Lucknow and District Recreation from January to May of 2024. Do we have any questions on any of these numbers? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. We have nothing under planning. We do on the building department have the report from our chief building officials, Brett Pollock. Do we have any questions on this report? It is for information purposes. Very positive. And thank you very much to Brett and your colleagues in your department. 8.2 is the community on-site septic inspection program, and that's regarding the missed inspection fee. It has been circulated. Do we have any questions on this? Councillor Miltenberg first, please.
I'm assuming, but I want to confirm, this is if it's their fault, it's a missed inspection, not our fault.
Thanks for the question. I'll defer to our staff, please.
Yeah, that's correct. It would be, that's obviously the last scenario to do that. Every effort will be made prior to work with everybody. And, like it says in the report, we realize life happens along the way. So.
Okay, you're good. Anything else? So I will ask for a show of hands to consider this in section 18 as a bylaw. And that is opposed? That is supported by council. Thank you. Under administration, we have the bylaw enforcement officer's report for information purposes. Do we have any questions or comments on this? If not, it is for information purposes. 9.2 is the Lucknow Recreation appointing of a facility operator, being Zane Livingston. Do we have any questions or comments on this? And if not, I would ask again for a show of hands to consider adopting this in Section 18 as a bylaw. And that is supported by council. Thank you. Colborne Cemetery Service 9.3. It has been circulated. We routinely have a member of council at that. Councillor Van Stone, would you be available for this year? Okay. Usually it can alternate, and I will ask if council is in support of Deputy Mayor Van Stone attending and overseeing the Colborne Cemetery Service. And that is supported by council. Thank you. 10.1 is the Veolia Water Operations and Maintenance Report, again for information purposes. Do we have any questions on this? Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, it looks like we're doing a great job here, we being whoever does it. But I do notice that we're getting alarms for power outage. And is that just because the electricity goes out in the area, or is something else happening?
Thank you very much, and I will defer to our staff for that. Tom, please.
There was some blips with the chlorine analyzer. I believe we have budgeted for replacement for that unit, so that should be done. We do have some instances of the generator running, so just whenever these things happen, it just gets noted in the report.
Fair enough. Okay. Anything else on that? That is for information purposes. 10.2 is the Century Heights new well treatment building. Of course, we was sent to tender. We have received a tender, and it is for the approval of the lowest tender on this. And I would entertain a mover and a seconder for this, please. Deputy Mayor Van Stone moves. Councillor Hickey seconds that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council award the tender for the Century Heights new well treatment building to Finbuilt General Contracting Limited of Stratford in the amount of $1,645,887.60 inclusive of HST. Do we have any questions on this? Seeing none, Councillor Blake, please.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just looking for some clarification. Does that cost of 1.6 and some on change include any of the equipment that's needed inside the building, or is this just the structure, landscaping and grading and whatnot? Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the question. Tom, please.
It'll include the equipment inside the building. Yes.
Okay, you're satisfied with that? Thank you for that. Okay, we have a motion moved and seconded. All in favor of the receiving of the tender? And that is approved. Passed. Thank you. We have nothing under drainage. The Public Works 12.1 is the Ashfield Street Reconstruction Levying Bylaw that has come back to council today. Do we have any questions on this? If not, I will entertain a show of hands to consider this in the Section 18 as a bylaw, please. Opposed? And that is supported by council. Thank you. Committee reports. Do any members of council have any committee reports that they would like to share at this time? Did I see Deputy Mayor and then Councillor Miltenberg?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just an update. I was at the Auburn Community Center, and the bookings have really increased since COVID, and everything's running fine. And I happen to live across from Ben Miller Hall, and I see it's the same way. It looks like we're almost back from our COVID downside. So I really would be nice to have everybody know that, so that if the hall needs to be rented more, it can. So it's great to see everybody out and about. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Councillor Miltenberg next, please.
Yeah, I attended an ECDev committee with Vicki Last came, and we did a follow-up from our strategic plan. We've made an action plan. Staff is going to be working on it over the summer. We'll meet again the first week of September, and then it will be presented to council. And as part of that, the next day I attended the Pathways Center in Stratford, which is just a fascinating part of the Stratford secondary, intermediate school, something like that. They have a whole wing that's devoted to the trades. So grade sixes come every year. This is the first year it's been fully functional. Grade sixes will come every year. And then grade 7, 8s come as both classes, because so many schools have mixed classes, so they do them together. So our students haven't gone yet because they started with the east side, and this year it's going to be the west side. But they do everything from sheet metal to graphic design to that 3D printing. They get to make themselves like a toolbox out of all the different facets, so they get a taste of the trades before they hit high school. And they also have you know, the youth apprenticeship program and everything. The superintendent of the school board was there. The director of education of the school board was there. I chatted with both of them about Brookside. We had some great talks. We're going to be talking again in August, and hopefully things will come forward to council in September with direction to work with our schools to engage them in the trades so they stay in our area, basically. And also because we want to educate our young people. And those are my comments.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Councillor Hickey, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have 3 reports I'm going to give, if I can keep going. The Dungannon market has been going for a couple weeks now. Just an update on that. The food truck is serving approximately 50 to 60 people per Friday night. So far for vendors, we've only had 2 vendors out, one with promo items and another one with beach glass art. There is another produce vendor starting July 12th. Brookside School is promoting the children's market that we're going to try and have throughout the summer. We have a Community Alliance meeting tomorrow night, so we're going to have more to talk about tomorrow night. Just it's a day late for this meeting to update on that. But that's the update for Dungannon. On the weekend, I attended the Dungannon Super Bowl in Lucknow. It was a full day, a hot day. I reached out to Steve Adams to get some follow-up after the event. He wants to thank the ACW for the continued support with the graders and the dump trucks for the weekend. Camping doubled from last year. They had over 400 sites this year for camping. Attendance was up 1,000 to over 7,000 guests from last year. New layout this year with focus on day programming on the Saturday for kids to keep them active. Friday night for the Smash Up was a success. Saturday Super Bowl, they had increase in American pullers. It seemed all day, every time you had heard over the speakers, someone was coming from Pennsylvania. It was a common place they were coming from. So it was a huge success there. A lot of compliments on the track this year after an extra year for the clay to settle. And he wanted to just shout out to all the volunteers for the setup and the takedown. It was a lot of help, but it went quick with the help that they did have. And then a third report I had last week, I think it was, I attended with Brett and Megan and a few people from the industry in our township, the Ontario Association of Sewage Industry Services, I think it is. Yes, services. They had a town hall in Belmore that day. It was a very informative day. The disposal of sewage is a widespread problem in our province, in our county, and the issue falls 100% on the municipality of origin. It's the same as your garbage pickup that gets picked up. The human sewage is the responsibility of the township. Local companies have approved sites for summertime disposal direct to the fields from April 1st to November 31st, I believe. Outside of those dates, those companies have been going to Ripley with their disposal. Ripley has cut off all outside hauling in since. Issues have been going on there. So this coming winter, our local haulers have no disposal site as of today for sewage. Kincardine is the closest that will accept them at their Tiverton location, but with the fees and the cost, it's going to increase approximately 200% from the current rate that the card charged today. So it could be up to $900 per tank to get pumped this coming winter if that is the disposal site. The speakers talked about the urgency for a solution. There was 4 municipalities that were really there, concentrated there. ACW had a very good turnout. Howick from Huron County, then South Bruce and Huron Kinloss were from Bruce County there. Those were the 4, I think, townships that were there mostly. In 2 different ways. There was one, I don't know if it was South Bruce or Walkerton. It was one in Bruce County. they're trying to focus on their own. They're trying to focus on how do we take care of us, our needs. Whereas North Perth was there, and they had a speaker talk, and North Perth sees it as an income opportunity. They've expanded their facility, and they're putting more money into it right now to do their own needs, plus bring others in as an income source to pay for their, like, what services they need. So two different approaches. So without getting into a full-scale treatment plant, and I've talked to Brett about this, and I talked to service providers in our township about this, to me, for us, I don't want to make it sound too simple, because it's not, I understand that. But we have our fields from April 1st to November 31st. And one solution beyond a full-scale treatment plant that they talked about that day is a lagoon in farm fields. It's an easy, cheap solution, not cheap, but cheaper of the solutions to handle this. Put in the lagoon. Talking to a service provider in our township, he figures the average tank for an 80-cow herd of cattle is what he would need to hold the township waste for the winter. And one of the things they talked about at that meeting was farmland. It can go on farmland and get your farmland. Well, as a township, I sat there thinking, we have farmland. We have 3 or 4 sites. We have gravel pits with farmland. We tender out to people. We might be ahead of this than other municipalities because we already own land that could be used upon. So I would like a staff report at some point on the sewage handling in this township and possible solutions that we could look at to take care of this matter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And I would suggest let's deal with that under new business for a future meeting. Is that okay? But that was a very fulsome report, and thank you very much for that. And to follow up on that, if a lagoon was an option, there may be opportunities within our municipality that there may be a lagoon that is currently not being used that could be an option. So that would be something for, we'll come back to that under new business. Any other committee reports? Wayne, please.
Just, you said like Ripley shut them down. Like, what were they charging? Was that mentioned? Or like that 900, that seems atrocious.
I don't know for sure. I want to say it was $100 or some 100 per outside load. That was just their fee for accepting, plus the other charges of the companies to do the work. But I was told between 150 to 200% increase if Tiverton is the option for this winter, which at this point is the only option.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. Any other reports? I have a couple of comments to share. The first would be that following our last meeting, I went to Calgary to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities conference there. There was probably about 3,000 attendees from across Canada, and that organization is responsible for federal advocacy. AMO looks after Ontario, FCM looks after the federal. And there were numerous breakout sessions and keynote speakers that addressed the conference on issues that affect a lot of municipalities in Canada. We all are challenged with the same issues that we're all dealing with. Prime Minister Trudeau spoke at the conference and fielded some questions, and it was a tremendously worthwhile conference. Also, to follow up on your comments, last week was a great weekend for ACW in Huron County with the Super Bowl. It's just absolutely amazing. The interest that has and the enjoyment that it provides to so many people. That's very, very positive for ACW and our area in Huron County. And along with that, the Lancaster aircraft flew into Sky Harbor Airport, and it was 60 years since it had left. And there was probably about 8,000 or 9,000 people there on the Friday. And I had a previous engagement in Clinton first thing, and I knew I could make, the airport by 10 o'clock, and I get into Goderich at 9:35, and I reached the airport 2 hours later. And it was just like a parking lot. Good to see. And there's so many people that came to see the Lancaster. There's a 2.5-hour lineup to get inside the Lancaster, and so many young people there. It really warmed my heart. And then again on Saturday, it flew out to Kincardine and then come back and left at 2 p.m. It was a great weekend for Huron County and for ACW. And it's great to see so many residents and from abroad that came to our area. The hotels were all booked, and it's good for commerce. It's good for ACW, and it's good for Huron County. So I wanted to share that. Okay, moving on to new business. Is there anything that anyone would like to bring up under new business for a future meeting? I will go first to Councillor Hickey, please.
Thank you. If I could have, or we could have staff do a report on the sewage handling in the township, where we're at now and where we could go in the future with that, please.
Options. Correct. Okay. Is council in support of this for future meeting discussion? Hands, please. Yes, that is supported by council. Is staff good with that direction? Anything else for a future meeting? Okay, thank you for that. We have no correspondence for direction. We have some items under information. Is there anything that anyone would like to pull for discussion? And I will go first to Councillor Miltenberg, please.
Yeah, I wanted to speak to 16.5, the flag raising. The first couple paragraphs, I'm not going to speak to. There's a request for a flag in October. I know that we are having a flag policy come back, and I think it'd be appropriate to leave that conversation till then. But I did want to talk about the last paragraph. In it, the letter writer, who seems to be a little bit angry, says that ACW Council might want to spend a little more time, money, and staff resources on making sure the existing Canadian flags, and he speaks specifically about the one in St. Helens, and I would really like to correct that narrative. We have several properties, either the green spaces in Dungannon and Port Albert or Ben Miller, St. Helens. They are provided to the community for their use, and part of that is their job is to look after it. So we have a St. Helens Hall Committee, we have a Ben Miller Hall Committee. So the responsibility of the flag was the St. Helens Hall Committee, and I am the council rep for that, and I have spoken to them about that. So the narrative which actually happened is it was very windy right before Remembrance Day, if anyone remembers that, and people who see it all the time did not notice that it was tattered. I personally never saw it. So this person complained to a counselor, and the counselor mentioned to the staff. The staff called a board member of the St. Helens Hall Committee. That board member is a member of the Legion, has a uniform, and goes to all the events. The very day that they were called, they didn't want to take the time to come up here and get a free flag that we would have given them. They drove to Lucknow because it was closer, and within 24 hours of getting the flag, they put the flag up. It did not stay tattered for months. So the compulsion is to tell counselors, I guess, but really the day-to-day dealings of the township as staff and the day-to-day dealings of our municipal properties is the hall. So the number one thing to do is if you see a problem and you don't know someone in that community, then do call the staff because they know who to contact. Well, I should say probably there's a different way. I'm a director of Kingsbridge Center, and in May, apparently our flag was getting tattered. I see it all the time and didn't recognize it. And we came and someone had just replaced the flag for us, and we don't know who did it. So I guess the first option would be to just fix it yourself. The second option would be really talk to your neighbors, and the third option would be to call the staff. But that flag, when was noted, was fixed almost immediately. It did not hang tattered, and St. Helens Hall Board would like you to know that, and they do great work, as do all our volunteers. Thank you. Totally
agreed. Councillor Hickey, and then Deputy Mayor Vanston.
Thank you. I'm going to also comment on 16.5, and I look forward to that report coming from staff on the flag raising in the future. But until then, this council's policy is case by case. So this is a request by a taxpayer and of ACW. He states he wants to recognize and honor the past, and the history is important. So I'm not sure how we can say no to this, honor the past, no harm to anybody. So I would like to make the motion to fly that flag in October.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that? Seconded by Councillor Forrester. Any further discussion? Oh, yeah, okay, Councillor Miltenberg, please.
I think if it's a case by case, and he's asking for October, then why wouldn't we wait till closer? If you want to get into the down, and this is an individual speaking about history. I think History is a great idea. I would like it to be a historical person or maybe a committee rather than just individuals. I also would like to see as part of that flag report, the cost of a fourth flagpole. Because I don't know why we wouldn't hang something on Orange Shirt Day about if we're gonna do history. Or if you're gonna do the history of ACW, then you would fly the 3 flags together. But I do think it's a premature conversation. He's not asking for next month, and there's time to table this. I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm saying why wouldn't we table it? That's my suggestion.
Okay, thank you for that. Deputy Mayor, did you have a comment or no?
No, I didn't.
No. Okay.
I do have a thought.
Okay.
Because as I always said, as long as we treat everybody equally, I'm all in favor of it. So if this is an individual, I've got a different aspect than if it was a group. If it was a group, I'd be 100% in favor of this right away. So if this gentleman would come back with, say, member of the hall, or I don't care what group he's with, I would be in favor of it 100%. So, but as an individual, I don't want to see everybody in here. Heck, I might want to fly, as he says, a Toronto Maple Leaf flag, and I don't think that would be appropriate. Or I guess really now it would be the Calgary Flames I'd want to fly. So, but anyways, I think I would like to see it come back with more than just one person generating the interest in this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else? I had a conversation, this individual called me and I returned his call, and this letter is very contradictory in the format that this individual indicated that he is against other flags and yet is proposing one. And I also communicated that West Wawanosh amalgamated 23 years ago with Ashfield and Colborne Township. We are ACW. We are not individual townships. We have one tax rate. We are an inclusive municipality that includes all of the townships that form this. So I am challenged with this. I don't like diversity. ACW in Huron County is inclusive. With that, any further comments? We have a motion that, would you read the motion, please, Claire?
That Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council fly the former West Wawanosh flag for the month of October.
Okay.
So moved by Councillor Hickey, seconded by Councillor Forrester.
Correct. We're clear in the motion. All in favor of the motion? Opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Anything else under correspondence? Deputy Mayor, please.
But I still want the staff to come back with a flag recommendation. So if that's still in the works, that's great. Thank you.
That is definitely so.
It is. Okay, anything else? Deputy Mayor?
And if we go back to, and wait till I get down here, 16.1, I think that's the wrong minutes there. If everybody looks at them, that's back in December. Our latest minutes are not there, which I would really like to see on there because there's been some talk of a lot of money spending, which I think we should all look at real serious before the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. I'll defer to our staff, please. CAO.
So that's the minutes that were just approved. That's why you're only seeing them now. So those minutes will come, draft minutes will come forward.
Okay, good with that. Oh yeah, please do.
Okay. So like I take it everybody's here because it's 16.2. Like, do we have to deal with this or just let it go? We don't have to deal with it. Oh, I'm cool with just letting it go.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Anything else? All right, thank you. Under 17, unfinished business, the AMO conference is happening the 18th and 21st of August in Ottawa. Councillor Miltenberg is registered and I'll be attending on behalf of the county. With that, we do have some bylaws to approve before we go into our closed session. So with the permission of council to go around the room, if that's okay. So the first would be the appointment of the facility operator and parks maintainer for the Lucknow Recreation. It would be moved by Deputy Mayor Vanstone, seconded by Councillor Hickey, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 37-2024, being a bylaw to appoint the position of facility operator and parks maintainer for the Lucknow and District Joint Recreation Board, and that it now be read severally a first, second, and third time and finally pass this 18th day of June 2024. All in favor of the motion? And that is carried. Thank you. The 18.2 is the Ashfield Street Reconstruction Bylaw, moved by Councillor Miltenberg, seconded by Councillor Forrester, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 38-2024, being a bylaw to authorize the estimated levying of the capital costs of the Ashfield Street Reconstruction Project, and then it now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally pass this 18th day of June 2024. All in favor of the motion? Opposed? And that is carried. Thank you. 18.3 is a consolidated fee bylaw, moved by Councillor Blake, seconded by Councillor Forrester. The leave be given to introduce bylaw number 39-2024, being a bylaw to amend the consolidated fee bylaw 25-2024, being a bylaw to set the various fees for the township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh, and then it now be read severally, a first, second, and third time, and finally pass this 18th day of June 2024. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. We do have a closed session today, and it would be moved by Councillor Miltenberg, seconded by Deputy Mayor Vanstone, that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council moved into a closed session in accordance with Section 239 in brackets 2 and brackets A of the Municipal Act, with the CAO, Clerk, and Public Works Superintendent remaining in attendance at 9:35 a.m. for the purpose of discussing the security of the property of the municipality. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. We will adjourn for 5 minutes, and thank you to everyone for attending, so that our clerk can secure the meeting. Thank you.
We're back.
Okay. We are back in our open session.
Are we there? Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thank you. We are in open session. There's nothing to report out of our closed session. And as for the confirmatory bylaw, to be moved by Councillor Miltenberg, seconded by Councillor Forrester, that leave be given to introduce bylaw number 40-2024, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Township of Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Council meeting held on June 18th, 2024, and then now be read severally a first, second, and third time, and finally pass this 18th day of June 2024. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. And it would be moved by Councillor Blake and seconded by Councillor Forrester that Ashfield-Colborne-Wawanosh Township Council does now adjourn to meet again today at 7 p.m. tonight. Or call it, all in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you very much. The meeting's concluded. We'll see everyone tonight at 7 p.m. for a planning meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, we're out.